Hey guys, it's Jen, and I'm here today with my BookTubeAthon Wrap Up. So I actually did pretty good during BookTubeAthon. I managed to finish 6 books throughout the week, which is a lot better than I was expecting to be able to do. So the first book that I finished was my Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince reread that I was doing. I was listening to this one on audiobook. I finished this the first day of BookTubeAthon because I had already started it and I only had about 6 hours left of the audiobook. So even though I only had like a fraction of the book left, I'm still counting this one because I did read it during BookTubeAthon. The second book that I read during BookTubeAthon was Soldier by Julie Kagawa. This was my book to read by one of my favorite authors, and I absolutely loved this book. I think I gave it 5 stars, and of course, it being Julie Kagawa, there was a huge cliffhanger at the end, and now I have to wait. The third book that I read for BookTubeAthon was The Crown's Game by Evelyn Skye. This book was my book that I learned about from BookTube. I had to read this one for my book club as well, so I just finished it on Friday, which was the day of my book club. So I just finished it in time for my book club. I should have read it sooner, but I'm a procrastinator, so what do you expect? But I actually really enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and it was really good, and I'm really looking forward to the next book. So then the next book that I read on Friday night and Saturday and finished it. I probably could have finished it all in one sitting, but I just get interrupted so much with kids and whatnot. And that was The Spindlers by Lauren Oliver. This was a cute little middle grade book that essentially is kind of like a changeling story. Liza's brother essentially has her soul stolen and becomes like a new person, and it was really interesting. I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5 because it was a little young for me. Obviously it's middle grade, but sometimes middle grade doesn't. I do enjoy reading middle grade, but this one I just found like it did drag in a few spots for me. But this was my book that I read that had yellow on the cover. Next book that I finished was an ebook, and that was my classic, which I'm also going to use as my book read only at night because I essentially read this book in an hour and a half, and that was The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It is a classic. I didn't fall asleep reading it, and I didn't really feel tired reading it, even though I read it at like midnight. But it was a good story. I hadn't actually read Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde before, so I mean I knew the story, like the basis of the story, obviously, because it's been used in so much and like so many movies and stuff like that, but I hadn't actually read it, so it was a pretty good read. It was a quick read. It only took me an hour and a half to read, so that was at least something that was working for it. But I did enjoy it because it didn't drag like a lot of classics seem to do. There was a lot of dialogue in it, which is always good for classics, I find. I'm not big on big descriptive rants that sometimes authors can go off on during a classic. And then the final book that I read during BookTubeAthon was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I obviously really enjoyed this one. I also listened to this on audiobook, and let me just tell you guys, the feels, so many feels in this book, even though I've read it like 4 or 5 times now, maybe more. I'm not sure how many times I've read this specific book. I know that I've read other books in the series more often, but that's just because I would reread every time a new book came out. I would reread them all and get the story fresh in my mind for that new book, which is essentially what I just did now too, because of The Cursed Child, which is coming out on Sunday, and I'm going to the midnight release on Saturday at my local chapters. So I can't wait. Really excited about that. I never went to any midnight releases for any of the other Harry Potter books, so I'm excited about this one. But this one was my read and watch a movie adaptation. And of course, I only watched part 1 during BookTubeAthon because I watched it Sunday night. And then I watched part 2 yesterday. So I have watched both parts, just didn't finish it all during BookTubeAthon. And then I also was trying to read Soulless as my book for After Dark, but I didn't finish it. I only got about 40% of the way through. That's Soulless by Gail Carriger. I'm really enjoying it. My kids stole my tablet and killed the battery, and yeah, I just didn't get much of it read. I went to see a movie one night, and my husband and I also got new phones, and we started playing Pokemon Go, because that's the whole reason we got new phones, is because my old one couldn't play it. And I kind of just, Saturday, we went and walked around downtown for like 4 hours with the kids, and had ice cream and stuff while playing Pokemon Go, so I did not. I kind of lost a lot of reading time to the book. Plus, my book club was on Friday night. So there's 2 evenings that I didn't read because I had things to do. So that kind of cut into me finishing that book. But I am happy overall that I did finish 6 books in a week, because that is ridiculous for me. I don't normally read 6 books in a week. So I'm very happy with that. I don't even mind that I didn't read the 7th book, but overall, I did have a lot of fun with BookTubeAthon. I did 5 of the 7 video challenges. I did the first 5 days, and then I didn't do the last 2 days because it was on the weekend, and weekends are busy for me, so I didn't get them done. Overall, I'm happy with what I got done. I had a lot of fun with BookTubeAthon, and I can't wait until the next one. So how did you guys do for BookTubeAthon? Did you get all the reading done that you wanted to get done? Let me know down below if you did, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!